So my name's Lisette Hart, and I teach at Yoga Branch Studio in Vista. I'm gonna make it what I call an all levels flow class. And all levels might be that one day you're feeling a little more fatigued, another day you might have more energy. So I want to give you places where you can rest and go light, other places where you can build it up to more of a challenge. So when I'm giving choices, it's not to have you have to make complicated decisions. It's just simply to stay right where you're at if that's what's feeling great, and to maybe try something more challenging if that starts to become more interesting if you end up watching this a couple times. So I'm really glad to be doing this. It's definitely out of my comfort zone. It's my first real time teaching yoga to a camera instead of to a room full of wonderful people. So what I decided to do is get myself centered and just picture my wonderful cameraman who's here helping, and picture the camera lens itself as just looking into your eyes and being here with your heart and with each other. So in other words, I used to be a yoga teacher in real life, and now I just play one on TV. So here we go. How's that going to work? Let's begin. You might sit kneeling, or you could sit cross-legged. I'm going to switch to Sukhasana. Crisscrossed ankles works too. Okay. You can widen your sit bones, get level and steady. And inhale, lengthen your back. Good. And exhale, relax. And then turn inwardly to your breathing. You can relax your eyes closed. And draw a breath in through your nose. And let it out the nose, or out the mouth is fine too. And start to make the breaths more elongated and full. You can hear the sound of your breath, kind of like the ocean, the way the beach sounds with waves coming in and out. The way you're doing that is through cultivating Ujjayi breath, where you're breathing through the nose, but you're breathing with the power of your throat. That's the driving force of the breath. And from what I understand, Ujjayi breath means victorious. So we're going with victorious breathing. Throughout this practice, all the way until it's time to rest at the end in Shavasana. Do the best you can to generate the breathing with a slightly narrowed channel in your throat. That'll help you be able to hear your breath and keep your attention on it. Okay. So one more here to get centered. And then bring your hands together in front of your heart. "20 years ago, when I was a brand new yoga teacher, it took all my courage to lead an Om in front of the class. I don't have confidence in my sound of Om or my singing voice, but I got over myself. So, though it's still a little intimidating for me, we're all facing challenges these days, and we're building strengths in otherwise unimaginable ways. So I invite you, wherever you are, outside on your deck, in your living room, on your kitchen floor, with your hands at your heart, to join me for an Om. And we're also going to do the Loka mantra. This is part of a really old mantra that's a little bit longer, and we're just going to sing-song the last part of it. So if you know it, great, join me. If not, you can repeat this a few times and learn the words. I'm sure you can look it up as well. Okay. Exhale out completely. And ready for Om, inhale. Loka samasta Sukhino bhavantu. If you closed your eyes, you can bring them back open. Namaste. And then switch the crisscross of your legs. My mantra these last few days has been progress, not perfection. So, perfectly imperfect. Whatever we're going to do in this class is a step in the right direction and a step to take care of yourself really well today. So we'll start off opening up the chest and the heart area. You can take your fingertips to your shoulders. Inhale, pull your elbows back, lift your heart. And on your exhale, round in, bringing your elbows close together. Maybe they can even touch, and widen your upper back. And do that twice again. Good. Moving your spine, very much like in cat-cow. On this next inhale, widen your arms out to the side. Good. On the exhale, crisscross your right elbow over top of your left. And one way to do this is just to hold your arms like this and widen your back. If you can get one elbow over the other, go all the way. And if you're familiar with and comfortable with Garudasana arms, you're gonna wrap up and hold your palm or hold your wrist. And then move your elbows forward and up. If you want to even round in a little bit to your upper back and take a deep breath to widen the space between your shoulder blades, do that. Good, and then coming out, unravel the arms. We'll go the other way, inhale. And then exhale, left over right for either a mild hold. Okay, you can widen your upper back right here or crisscross more deeply, touching your shoulders. Or if you can line up without straining or hurting wrist or shoulders, you'll wrap up, palm to palm or palm to wrist. Garudasana, eagle pose, arms. You breathe here, moving the elbows forward and any amount up. And you can also explore setting them into a position where you'll find that stretch that's just right for you. Breathing into the back part of your rib cage, you might just round in a little bit and take a deep breath there. And then easing back to neutral, like you're in slow motion about to give a friend a hug. Inhale. Good. Then exhale, relax your hands back to your heart and then down. Okay, and then we'll move on to the next part of our practice. So if you were sitting on something like I was, you can move it out of the way. I think I'll tuck it right out of the way for now. I planned this class to really not have to use any props as you're at home. I don't know what you have, but all you really need is a floor, a mat if you have it, and blankets. If you want to be more comfortable, you could put a blanket under your knees and make this work for you. Okay. So we'll do 3 rounds of cat-cow and then add on. Inhale, tilt. Exhale, tuck. Waking up your core. Moving your hips, back and chest. And when you're rounded into this position, you could decide to keep going in cat-cow. That will be one level. Or we're going to make it harder. You'll tuck your toes under and do a hover. Your knees just come a little bit up off the ground. You're holding strong. One more breath. Good, and then ease your knees all the way back down. Anytime you want, you could stop and shake out wrists or move your hands to a different spot. On your inhale, take your right heel back. Hug the inner thigh in and have your toes pretty much facing down. Stay here or balance out on the right hand and left leg and take your left hand out front. And breathe. Staying right here, or reaching back to do kind of a crossbow catch, Okay, notice how your hand grips your foot if you're able to grip it. You can do under grip or change it up a little bit. See if you can turn your hand the other way, rotating your shoulder differently. And lifting into the core, inhale, extend. And exhale, place hand and knee back down. And then we'll do the other side, so the left leg back. This is a place you can be holding the whole time. Or centering yourself and extending the right arm. Stay here or reach back. You can hold your foot one way or the other. And if you've got it, give it a good kick back. Good, and as you're ready, inhale, extend. Go with your pace more than my pace. Exhale, hand and knee all the way back down. At this point, you might really feel good to rest back into child's pose, knees together or apart, and relax down with your head on your hands or any resting position that feels good. And I'd love you to stay right here if that's what feels best for you right now. If you have more energy and you want to move on, instead of staying in child's pose now, we'll set up for downward dog. Those of you who are in child's pose, join down dog anytime you're ready. So you'll flip your toes under, press your knees up and back, and ease into it. Let this pose evolve as you breathe, and as your body tissue gets more warmed up and more free. You can explore the width of your hands and feet apart, get some variety. You can even explore a little wider dog, longer dog. I'm going to give you this as another place to stay. So you're either in down dog or resting in child's. Those of you that want more, you're going to shift forward into plank pose and hold strong. Kind of grip the mat with active fingers, fingerprints press down so you're not just on the heels of your hands. Protect your wrist. For more, you might do a one leg lift. To build up to that, a way to get there is to do your plank pose with your knees down on the ground and build strength. Good. On your exhale, back to downward facing dog. Okay, feel free to stay in child's pose if you prefer. And we're going to do a real strengthening, a little flow here. So you'll bend your knees low to the floor like that crouch that we did, that hover, and then let your hips come back toward your heels. Don't do this if it hurts your knees. You're going to pounce forward and spring into plank pose from here. So the breath is inhale, crouch. Exhale, press. Remember, progress, not perfection. So if this starts off smaller, building strength over time, or modified, that's great. Full thing to give yourself a challenge. We'll do 2 more. And then meet up in downward facing dog. Getting ready to step the right foot forward. So inhale, lift it up. You can stretch it back. Breathe. Bend your knee and tilt your hips to the side to stack them. Careful of the knee of your standing leg, that left leg. Keep it straight forward. Don't let it pull in or twist to the side. Keep it nice and safe, and then bring your right foot forward. We're going to ease down into a low lunge. Pretty much this front shin straight up and down. If your heel's way in close like this, it can get kind of hard on your knee. So have that front leg stable. If you happen to have blocks where you are, you could have your hands on blocks if you prefer. And breathe. Practicing with your fists down or palms down is fine. It tends to kind of add up on the wrist a little bit over time for me. So I like to come up, I've had some teachers teach me this edge of the finger support, and I really like that. So here's where we progress to different levels of intensity. You might stay right here. Maybe you'll come up to do more of a lift in your chest with one or both hands on your thigh. Breathe. Tune into the breath you're taking in this moment. There's not a right or wrong place to feel it as long as you're not in pain. If there's some intensity in the hip or the front of your back leg and groin area, as long as it's a great stretch and doing something good for you, then wonderful. Okay, other places to go from here would be to tuck the back foot under and even do a press up, maybe a reach up. You could be lifted or staying where you originally were. For more stretch in this back leg, if you need more. Okay, hand on a block works great, or hand on the thigh. You'll bend your knee and reach back. Take hold of your foot and lean forward, and then pull that heel in. If you know reverse grip, you can reach around and go in a little deeper. And adding any joyful flourish that feels wonderful. Last breath. Good, and releasing from there. Okay. For this next part, this is targeting more the back of the front leg. So you might be up on your knee. If it feels better for you, it's really similar to do it sitting back on your heel. That works great too. Go any amount down. If this is what you need to get a good stretch, go there. Your body might be getting a good stretch in a little different shape. Further away from your leg if you're a little tighter. Now here's a chance for anyone who's more advanced in the splits to go into it if you'd like to. So when and if you feel warmed up for that. Could be today or another day that you've watched this. But you can move forward. Feel free to tuck a block or some pillows or blankets under your front leg for support, or come down to the floor. Any variations, a few more cycles of breath. And the splits is definitely one of those progress, not perfection poses. So we just take time. You don't want to overdo it on any one session. Just give yourself time to build to that. You'll place your hands to exit. Get your back leg steady. Lift the core. And then send your right leg back. Maybe move it around a little bit so it's comfortable and free. And then set it down and breathe. Okay, second side. So the left leg up and back. Lengthen out through your arms, through both legs. So this front knee, you want to keep it forward. When you tilt and stack, there's a tendency for the knee to pull in that direction. So keep the right thigh rotated frontward to the right and the left hip lifting. Good. And then take your time to glide, step, or shuffle your left foot forward. Set up a safe left knee. You might stay low, support yourself like we went over on the first side with blocks or any other support. A stack of books could work well. And as I breathe here, I'm just letting the area where I feel the stretch, which is right in here. I feel it a little bit in here too, but the front of my right thigh and groin area, I have a lot of tightness here, so I'm just relaxing into softening the feeling in those fibers. And that area stretches, my back feels better, my right knee feels better. So it's not so much about adding on to the poses as what they're doing to benefit your vibrant health and your comfort in your body. So you might stay low this whole time, okay? Or you might come out sooner. Okay, always take a break whenever you want. Your hands or forearms now up to the front thigh if you're going to progress up to the next part. This is when in class we'd be looking at each other and maybe joking around a little, giving each other kind eyes and support. So feel it coming your way. I'm sending it. So you could stay here or challenge yourself. I didn't show it on the first side, but instead of coming up to a press-up lunge, if you wanted to build towards it, you could have your hands helping you. On the first side, I think I showed it more like this, doing a press-up. So either way, or progress with your hands being there as partial support. And then ease your way down. You can do it with your hands coming to the ground first, which give you more support, or you could ease down without your hands really helping that much. Okay, and then the next bit, if you want more stretch in this area, you'll reach back. Okay. One way is to reach back with your hips forward like this. Another way is to come back first. Some people are more comfortable doing it like that and then coming forward. Whatever path you take, you might hold your outer ankle or reach around, and if you're going to press on your toes like this, let your toes push back into the hand so that your ankle's not being pressed too hard. Stay right here, or you can express another variation. Breathe. Whoop, here we go, and that's what happens. Progress, not perfection. Good. We are not going to edit that out because that happens. So that's okay. All right, so you're going to lean back and extend your left leg, either staying there or sitting on a support or maybe sitting back on your back heel. For some people, this feels more comfortable. For others, it can bother their knee. So find where it really works for you. You have time to explore that. And breathe. You can stay right here or move deeper into splits with your foot coming farther apart. If you're home, maybe a stack of blankets or a cushion from your sofa, something that gives you some good firm support, or extend all the way. Two more breaths. This is often when you're coming out of full splits where you try to get out and your mat wants to drag with you. So if you're coming out of full splits, just pull that heel in. If you're coming out of the lunge, you can set that foot down. Whenever you've got your foundation ready, shift back and free up your left hip. And breathe. I'll show you a gentle vinyasa. You'd inhale forward with your knees helping you. You'd exhale, ease your body down. Inhale, low cobra. And exhale to a child's or to a downward dog if you like. Or more dynamic. Plank. Chaturanga. Up dog. Downward dog. Okay, then for a little zinger, maybe this is a little fun. You could go back on your hands and knees and do the earlier crossbow, opposite hand and foot. I'm going to give it a go to do it here from dog. So I'm just widening my stance a little. And I pick up my right leg and pick a spot to look at. We'll see what happens here. We may be editing this part out. We'll see how it goes. So you're gonna look at a spot and see if your left hand can come off the ground. Maybe it can find your right foot. Maybe it's just kind of flailing around waving or high five. Whatever happens there, have a little fun. And we'll go to the other side. Left leg up. Okay. It worked out okay this time. It's always fun. That one's just a little scary for me. At the end of your exhale, either take little steps, a big stride, or a hop to bring your feet to your hands. On your inhale, half lift. And exhale, folding down. And if folding to bent knees feels better on your body, please do. Take a breath. And get your legs steady and ready and strong. Root into the ground. And inhale, reach up overhead. Lengthen your low back. Good. Exhale your hands down to your sides and take a breath. Great, time to move to some standing postures. So I'll do my best to mirror. Take your feet a comfortable distance apart, about one of your leg lengths. Open out your right leg from the upper thigh. Spin the knee and toes to the side, heel to arch. Inhale, extend for triangle. On your exhale, reach over and down part way or deeper as you're ready. If it's too much, do a micro bend to your knee. Elongating your wingspan, tailbone to crown, strong and steady on both legs. So to exit, that's the place where yoga injuries tend to be a little more common. Is we kind of think we're done, and then we realize we're not done. We have to come out safely. So the safest way, I think, would be to look down and bend your knee and really get your legs strong and steady and press up with the support of that bent leg. If you've built up core strength over time, you get your core engaged, both legs steady, and using your legs, you can press up. So either way works. Just the second one can be hard on your back if you're not used to that. You don't want to recruit from here to pull up, really recruit from rooting down. And then switch to your other side, heel to arch, spinning your left knee open. Inhale, good, and exhale, reaching over any amount. Find your starting place. I'm aiming for about 5 cycles of breath on each side here. Long, strong, steady. And getting ready to exit. Find your foundation, your safe way out. Inhale, come on up. And then exhale, we'll go around to set up pretty much the same way, heel to arch for Parsva-Konasana. You're going to lean over onto the forearm, and many of you will stay right here and practice the pose like this. There's other variations, like a half bind with your top hand. Okay, or I have this little mic pad, so I got to be careful here. Or come down inside the front of your thigh. You can reach under and clasp hands into a full bind. Good. Unwinding if you wrapped up. Inhale, lift, swiveling your feet to the other side. And exhale, leaning over. Giving the right side body a stretch toward the ceiling. Either stay right here. You come into one of the other variations, like a half bind, or reaching lower down, maybe to a block. Or getting your shoulder tucked in really close to your thigh. You're going to reach under, and the bottom hand will catch the top hand. The wrapper is the grabber. Last one. Good. Unwind if you bound. come all the way back up. We're going to come on over to the right side again. Here we'll do a little shoulder opener. So as you bend your knee, reach your hands back, interlace your hands your favorite way. Inhale, lift. And exhale, feel free to stay here. Or you can fold a little bit down or lower down, or maybe go deep down to the inner leg. And have you keep the legs pretty much as they are, but release your hands down to support you on the ground. And for some of us, we'll stay right here or walk the hands to a more comfortable place. That's where I'd love you to stay. If this is plenty, please stay right here. Okay, you don't need to do the next things. If you want more and your knee is okay with it, you can squat down much more deeply into that right knee and either keep your left foot grounded or spin your kneecap and toes face up. You've got support from your arms. I might give it a go to see if my balance is there today to maybe not need my hands. If you feel like reaching your hands up overhead, I don't think I will right now. I'm trying to talk and think and teach, so I'm going to stay a little more grounded, but lifting your hands is another option. So we'll release out of there and gently press back upright and switch over for that sequence on the next side. So the difference is, once you've bent your knee, instead of lacing your hands the way you normally do, relace with your opposite thumb and all the other fingers the opposite way your brain normally sets up. So that odd way behind you, inhale. And exhale down any amount, just grazing the inner thigh with your rib cage. And release the neck. Let your hands release to the floor. And pause there. You might stay right here or lean into it. Or you might set up that bent knee squat that we did. So you'd crouch down, check if your knees respond well. Your extended leg can stay foot flat for inner thigh stretch, or you can dig down pretty firmly with the back of that heel. I micro bend this knee so that I'm not overstretching it. Pick a gazing point and breathe. Feels about right. So bring your hands down, come on back to middle. And here let's do a forward fold, symmetrical Prasarita Padottanasana. And for most of us, leaving the head down, you can walk your arms to one side or back behind you. If you typically like to weave in a press-up headstand here, if that's in your practice, Mukta Shirshasana can come. If you pressed up into headstand, get your foundation steady, widen your feet, and safely come back down. If you didn't, but you'd like to, I'd suggest learning that at a wall or with some support from a teacher so you don't hurt your neck. And maybe I can make a little mini class or something about headstands for those of you that are interested. So hands steady, legs steady, inhale. Exhale, hands to hips, pull in at your middles, nice and strong. And then inhale, come all the way back up. You can toe heel, slide, or hop your feet together and release. Okay, great job. So let's see, we'll move on to some standing postures, thinking of what would be a nice progressive one to do. Let's move to a tree pose. Okay, why not? Great posture. So I'm not going to cue right and left on this. You just pick the side you want to stand on. You're going to root your foundational leg and turn the other knee to the side. You can place your foot down low or lift your toe a little bit up off the ground. You're already balancing on one leg like this. Otherwise, foot to shin or up to the inner thigh. And then the foot and thigh press together, kind of like two hands in namaste. So there's a centering effect. You're rooted and lifting. So you might stay right here or raise your hands or go over to a wall if that's going to give you more support. If you have a half lotus in your practice and you wanted to move into that, that would be a way to weave in a little variation. You do your half lotus holding with opposite hand or around the mic. Ooh, that's different. Same hand. There we go. Good. Good, and then you can release over the next breath or two. And on an exhale, relax your hands down. When you step down on your foot, take a moment to free up your other leg, the one you were just standing on, get it ready. And then set up well. Again, out of wall works great. Okay, root down, take your knee open to the side, and you can go low. This would be a great place, even with a bent standing leg, to get and improve your balance. I feel myself being challenged here by this. Okay, so go in a way that challenges you to what's right today. Maybe coming up to the inner thigh. You can be creative with arms. If you did the half lotus and you want to do it on this side, you can. If one knee doesn't like it, don't do it on that knee. Let's see how my knee feels today. I feel like it feels pretty good. This way of supporting your half lotus works nicely. Or I kind of have long arms, so usually I can reach around or get a strap. Balance is really not about being still, it's about responding to change. As you're ready, begin to make your way back out and down, and then free up the leg you were just standing on. Take a moment to stand well in Tadasana, mountain pose. Solid on your own 2 feet. Lifted tall, heart bright and open. In this breath, knowing you are well and you are strong. So from mountain pose to Samastitihi with your feet a little closer together, hands at your side, standing well. Take a breath. And inhale, reach up. Good. Exhale, forward bend. Inhale, half lift. You can place your hands down, either walk your feet back to plank or you can jump back. Feel free to bring your knees down or exhale, hover. Inhale, low cobra or up dog. Flip the toes, exhale back to downward facing dog. Moving to some hip opening next. You can walk your feet forward to a squat pose, or you could jump it. For fun, I'm going to jump it. And just set up either from your jump or from your walk so that you're in a squat. If this is too much, you can have a block or something under your bottom, or you could do more of like a football huddle squat so that you're not having to be so deeply bent in your knees. And breathing here, arms press apart, shins press in. And take your time. A way to challenge your squat is to bring your feet in a little closer, or to have them a little bit less turned out and more parallel. That challenges your foundation and your hips to stretch more deeply. So that might be the way you play. If you want to do one of my favorite squats, it's called diddly squat. You just sit down and relax and don't put any pressure on your knees at all, okay? If you want to do a shape of squat, but that's an arm balance, you can come into Bakasana, the crow. Okay. So I won't do a big long tutorial on how to figure it out, but you're shifting your weight from balancing on your feet to balancing on the hands. To do that, you've got to get your shoulders far enough safely forward that your feet come off the ground. So it really helps to look in front. Don't look underneath at your feet, look out front. When you've played with that a little or you're ready, you can either bring your feet down to squat, or if you have a jump back in your practice, you can always jump back. Next, if you need to do a reclined pigeon, you can come onto your back for this next one. Okay, so the downward facing pigeon's what I'm going to be cueing, but go onto your back or get a blanket or something under your right hip to support your right knee if your knee doesn't like this pose. I'll keep it safe and draw your right foot as far forward as makes sense and lets you level out. And the target area is this right inner thigh or right outer buttock area for a good stretch. So find your way there, and you can ease your way down once you're set up to your forearms. You're relaxing your head down. And you're going to stay right here. I'm just going to show really briefly. I'm assuming you know, but I don't want to leave anybody behind if you're not sure. This is the reclined pigeon. It's on my gentle slow flow video with more detail, but you'd wrap up like this, so that way there's less pressure on your knee. Our exit is going to be a way to weave in a core strengthening. So you'll set your elbows, forearms down, palms flat or together. If you're going to lace them, just careful you don't grip too hard. Tuck your left toes under, push down enough to send your right leg back to meet your left. And find hips about shoulder distance from the ground. 5 cycles of breath here. Navel in. Muscles wrapped strongly around the bones without any unnecessary tension in your face. Ease your body to the mat and move through a cobra or an up dog to a downward dog. Get ready setting up your left side. Either sweep your knee forward in front of or a little to the left of your front hip. Level out. I'm square onto you. I'm not mirroring this one. I'm saying left and showing my left, but make sure you do your other side, whatever side you didn't just do. Okay, we're on the second one. Come onto your back if that feels better, and put your left ankle on your right thigh. And find your spot that feels just right, pretty level, back kneecap facing down, foot straight back behind you. And once you feel your foundation is set up, just make a little progress. Check it out. Does going lower feel nice? Maybe it doesn't. If it does, ease in, take some breaths till your tissue softens and you're listening to your own wisdom as to when to push and when to yield. And for me, the stretch is really diminished quite a bit, so I want to just nudge a little more of a challenge into it. So I'm going to bring my foot a little further forward and lean in. You can just explore. Every time you do this, it's going to be a little different depending on if you were sitting a lot or exercising, and how you slept, how often you're practicing. It's a chance to really be in the now. One last breath. If one of your sides feels tighter, feel free to hold it longer, maybe pause the video and stay on the side that needs it more, a little bit longer. If you're ready to come out, get the back foot ready, lift your core and step all the way back and hold strong. Okay, to modify this would be knees down, tummy in tight, or full pose, knees up. I'm going to give you a few challenges for more. You can practice lifting a foot. You can do some toe taps, side and in. For more, jumping jacks. For more, one foot up, same hand down, opposite arm out. Other side. Ease your way down. Instead of a cobra here, we're going to come right into Shalabhasana. Take your hands back. Inhale. Okay, gentle level will be lifting just the upper body. The intermediate, lifting into the feet as well. Good. Option to bend your knees for Dhanurasana, reaching back and pressing with energy into a bow. Vinyasa here, or rest in child's. If you're in child's, take another breath and then make your way up to sitting. If you're in down dog, you can bring your knees down, or you can do a little hop and come into a seated position. And pull your buttock flesh back and sit. The long spine. And if you tilt at the front thigh creases and you come forward a little and you get a good stretch in your back or in the back of your legs, you're there. If it's too much, you might not flex your feet as much, make it a little easier. For more, you just tilt down progressively as your body opens up by following your breath. As you're ready, inhale part way up to come out, and then exhale, release. And there's so many more poses I'd love to do with you, seated poses and other fun arm balances, but as we always say, so many poses, so little time. So I'm gonna head you toward the last part of our practice and have you come onto your back. Let's get comfortable on the floor. I always love this moment in practice when I get to just rest down, my back supported. And bring your knees in, give them a little hug. And then something that brings your feet into elevation, maybe just lifting them and turning the ankles. If you already safely know how to hold your neck in a shoulder stand, you could do that, or you could just lift up on something, a few books or something firm, like a good bolster that lifts your pelvis, and you'd lift your feet like that. I'll briefly send you into a shoulder stand if you'd like to. So you get your body strong and ready, shoulders and arms, good foundation, lift your legs. And stay on your shoulders, not on your neck. and lift up. Avoid turning your head side to side. Avoid tucking the chin. Just really firm the upper arms and the back of your skull, keeping your neck safe. Mine feels good here. My voice is normal. I can breathe. If anything like that's restricted, then you're not aligned optimally. So come out. Okay. Maybe toes overhead into plow. Or rounded to Karnapidasana. And then put on the brakes with your core strong, your arms rooted. And breathe your hips safely back down. Engage your low belly. Anytime you need to bend your knees, if this hurts your back, please bend your knees. Otherwise, find right where there's some work for your core and hover. Last one. And then bend the knees and relax down. So last few poses to go. Take a moment here. And you're going to do a back bend. I'm going to cue bridge and wheel. You can do both, or you can just do one or the other. For bridge, knees stay about hip distance apart, feet as well. Secure your shoulders, rock them in, interlace hands. And then lift up your pelvis. You can stay here for some variety. You can do some pulses where you inhale, dip, and exhale, squeeze to tone your bottom. And Jane Fonda style. If you like to do wheel, get your arms, shoulders, wrists ready. And place the fingers to face in toward the shoulders and steady your legs. Okay, use your legs a lot for this lift. You might even pause partway at your crown. Get your elbows set. You can lift your heels, ease your way safely back down, and relax. Coming out of bridge pose or out of wheel. And soak in how that feels. At the very beginning of this practice, we did the eagle arms. We're going to do the eagle legs now. Okay, so I want you to take your legs up, bend the knees, wrap your left thigh over the right, nice and high up, not low down by the knees, nice and high, bend them both. Keep this or double wrap if that's okay to hook your toe without bothering your knee. Okay. And then the arms, I'm going to come to the temples and we're going to do a little crunch here. So on the exhale, you're going to curl in, squeezing your legs together. 4 more. Good, squeeze. And then relax the head down, take your arms to the side, and take your knees to the right for a twist. Good, hug the legs back in, let them unravel. Take a moment, bend the knees, and now wrap your right thigh over the left once or twice. We'll do 5 squeezes. Exhale, curl. Head and shoulders relax down, knees rest to the left. Last breath. And then hug in, come back to center, unwrap your legs. You can give your knees a squeeze into your belly, or for the last movement before Shavasana, you can reach for your feet in happy baby pose. Staying still or doing a little rock. or maybe even an inner thigh stretch. And notice when it is that you take your final Ujjayi breath here, final active breath. And then shift gears into more relaxed breathing. Set up any comfortable things like a blanket over you or a pillow under your knees. And take a well-earned rest in Shavasana. Good job. Bring in a deeper breath. Wake your fingers and toes. Stretch your face. Elongate. Maybe even do a little yawn to stretch your jaw. And as you're ready, support yourself turned over to the right-hand side. As you're ready, ease your way back upright. You're making your way to a comfortable seat or to kneeling. Ready to close our practice. With your spine long and your heart lifted open, relax your eyes closed. Soften your face so the skin just rests smoothly over your bone structure. Breathing in, repeat to yourself, I am well. Breathing out, repeat to yourself, silently in your mind, I am relaxed. Bring your hands to your heart. Know that your unique expression of life, who you are, is needed in this world. You're connected through time and space. And one of the ways that you're connected is through your yoga practice and your yoga community. Though separate for a while, we are together. I'm so glad today we could practice, could make some progress, and keep that mantra, progress, not perfection. Thank you so much for spending this time for yourself and with me. It means a lot. So Lisette Hart from Yoga Branch in Vista. Namaste.